Hello, everybody, and welcome to Dot to Dot. Today, I'm going to talk about a famous painting and its connection to Oak Island. And even in the name of this painting, it is in stories related to Nova Scotia. And the painting is called Et Arcadia Ego. In other words, in Arcadia, I. And Arcadia is a ancient Greek myth about utopia, and it is referred to as possibly Acadia with the R dropped, referring to the old name of Nova Scotia. Now, this theory that I'm going to show you about this painting came from a gentleman who has a YouTube channel called My Cryptographic Discoveries. I subscribe to his channel. He only has a couple of videos. One was how deciphering the 90-foot stone cipher, but he just recently did this video about geometry and painting, and it is about the paintings of, especially this one right here, the Shepherds of Arcadia, done by Nicolas Poussin, who was a uh, painter, prolific painter actually, in France during the 1600s. And he painted this one in 1637 to 1638, towards the end of 1637. Now, his theory begins with a lot of um, a story behind it. And the secret of Poussin, the secret disclosed to Poussin, was done by a man named Nicolas Fouquet. And according to this video, Nicolas Fouquet was writing to Nicolas Poussin. Now, Fouquet was a very, he wasn't a noble blood, but his family was very rich. His father had a shipping company, and he was actually under the basically the mentorship of Cardinal Richelieu. And this cardinal comes up a lot in Oak Island research, at least for me. He was also at an early age the executive um, associate to the American Islands Company, which is basically in the Caribbean. But he also was very much into collecting paintings, art, jewelry, sculptures. He owned a very big castle in France, so he became very wealthy. But he wrote a letter, according to this video, to Poussin, saying that he had secrets that were envious even to kings. And so it was basically this man, Nicolas Fouquet, he was arrested by Philip the 14th, and he was basically all his art and everything was confiscated. And the series of paintings, which were the Et Arcadia Ego paintings, I think there was three of them, they were taken by the king and hidden away so that nobody would see them. And, Nicholas Poussin, here's a picture of Nicholas Poussin's self portrait. Both of these guys, he was a little older. He was born in the late 1500s, where Nicholas Fouquet was born in the early 1600s. Another contemporary is the writer Francois de la Rochefoucauld, who was just a couple of years younger than Fouquet, and he was a contemporary. Now, this is the gentleman that Zena Halpern says is referenced in the Rochefoucauld map, or the Zena Halpern map. So, this is the backstory of this uh, video on how it comes forth. Now, he proposes, here he's showing the R right here. This man is pointing to the R, and I'll show you in a little bit, because they believe that the reason he's pointing to this R in Arcadia is that this is why it is dropped. It's almost like he's saying, why is there an R here? We're in Nova Scotia, kind of thing, which is Acadia. So that's the way this. The other thing about this theory too is that he talks about a 3-4-5 triangle, which is something that is heavily used in, it's actually not heavily used, but it is a symbol of Freemasonry. And here, this was researched by Peter Edmondson. And this is something that is very indicative of Freemasonry. We have right here, this right here is the constitutions of the Freemasons in 1723. And you can see here the same logo of the three squares indicating the proposition of Euclid and the 3-4-5 triangle. So this theory is going to be based basically on this triangle, which has a lot of hidden meaning and meaning through Freemasonry and in the ancients put forth by Euclid and Pythagoras. So let me go to Google Earth, and here we have the painting by Poussin, and you can see right here he's pointing to the R in Arcadia. Arcadia. You can see the C, the A, the D. So this is the painting that we're going to look at. Now, one thing I like about this gentleman's theory is it's very basic. I've seen a lot of theories in geometry and with this painting, and they just go all over the place with this, with all the things. And this one is very basic. And it starts off with, of course, the three staves, because these three staves was researched by art experts, and they found that these staves were placed first before the foreground and the background, that they were painted around. So they were painted first. This gives us perhaps a clue that they were important in their geometric design. So we're going to put the lines in for these staves. And the first one we're going to do is this staff. Now, the protocol I'm using is if it's on the left, I'm going to use the left-hand side of the staff. So we're going to go down the left side of this staff. And one of the other clues is down here. You can see where the staff ends. You have a very straight, pretty much a straight line there. So this is where we're going to put the staff line there. The next staff is on the other side. Since it's on the right side, we're going to put it on the right side. And it goes down and it basically kisses this rock tangent to that rock. The other staff is this, which is basically giving us a clue from the position of this gentleman here. It goes down the left side. Now at the bottom here, it doesn't really have a good indication, but there is a faint black line you can see here, and we're going to go along that line, and that's where the position of that ends. Now the next step that he does in his theory is he puts in the crack. Now it's this boy here that is pointing to this crack that is in the wall, and you can see the line of the crack right there, and we put it. Now the other thing that he does is, in accordance with the 3-4-5 triangle, you'll see he's positioning this in a 53-degree angle. And that is one of the reasons why this is positioned the way the artist may have intended it to be positioned to form this 3-4-5 triangle. So the next thing that happens in this is the gaze line. Now the protocol that I'm using here is the lower pupil of the subject, and we put it at the lower pupil here of the woman. Now here it goes through pretty much the center of the eye of this boy, but it is at the bottom of the pupil on this boy. And this is the angle set up for this. So another thing he uses is the top of the staves. So he takes a line and goes horizontal to the top of the stabs, and it intersects a portion, the line that we just drew. And if you notice that the pupil now is basically enclosed in this angle. So that's very, very good protocol, I believe. Now, the next thing he does is he takes the reason for this staff right here is at this point where it intersects this staff, he basically does a 90-degree angle. And this will be the foundation of the 3-4-5 triangle, because a 3-4-5 triangle is a 90-degree triangle. And he takes it down to where it intersects the line created by the staff here. So notice that it's not at the bottom of the staff, it's where it intersects the staff right there. Now, this is not a 3-4-5 triangle, it's what's called a 4-5-9 triangle. In other words, it's 50 degrees, 40 degrees, and 90 degrees. So where do we get the 3-4-5 triangle? Well, it's right here. Here is a 3-4-5 triangle. It's created by the crack line, and we get 3 points that are created by this 3-4-5 triangle. So let me take the chalkboard and I'll let you see it. So right here, this is the 3-4-5 triangle. This is a 53-degree angle. Let me make that proper here. And this is a 90-degree angle. So this one would be left to be 37 degrees. So let's put back up the... So the next thing he does is from this point, from the horizontal and the eye, he completes another 3-4-5 triangle, which brings us down to, oops, it's the wrong one, right here. And this goes down to where it meets this point. Now this right here is a 3-4-5 triangle. So let's take this off and we'll put the chalkboard back on so you can see it better. And so this right here is a 3-4-5 triangle. This right here being 37 degrees. So we have two 3-4-5 triangles. So you're probably wondering, okay, where is this getting to? So let's go back to we know the purpose of this staff right here, and we know the purpose of this staff right here, but where is the connection to Oak Island? Well, I noticed one of the things too is if we draw another horizontal line from the edge of the sandal, we also end up at this point. So this point is becoming significant. Another thing is if we look at this staff line here, this staff goes down, but there's nothing really connected. The only thing that's connecting to is the top horizontal that we have positioned there. But what does the angle mean? Well, I've extended this and I'll show you in a minute. And what is the reason for this point here? We have the 3-4-5 triangle, and we have this point and this point. But if we take a line from the intersection right here of where these two cross, because remember, this is an important angle. If we take a measurement or a line from this point and go through the tip of this triangle and continue on, we go down and we intersect at a point right here off the picture. So this sort of denotes that there needs to be more information to solve this puzzle, that it is not necessarily able to be solved just by the picture alone. Maybe some of the elements, but not all the elements. So when I align this on Oak Island, first of all, we put in Nolan's cross, and we notice that this line right here is that 45-degree line. The 45-degree line was established by Zena Halpern's map, which is right here, which is the north arrow line that goes through here. In other words, this point right here is going to be La Hampe. And this we mentioned in the Rochefoucauld Grail also. So we notice that this is La Hampe. And then up here on this tree right here is the oak tree, or the oak. This is where the oak entrance is, the 522 entrance being right there. So this is corresponding very well to Oak Island. Another thing is what is this pointing to? Well, this is pointing to another point that is brought up in the Zena Halpern map and also the Rochefoucauld Grail is the set point. So the set point is called out in this geometry. And then last but not least, the most called out here in Nolan's Cross is cone D. And cone D is one of the points that is put forth through the Zena Halpern map, through locating this first actually in the decoding of the Zena Halpern map. So this is very interesting that this gentleman has given this geometry. I didn't think this up. He did. He didn't know how it applied to Oak Island, but with my study, I figured out that perhaps this is an indication that whatever information was given by Fouquet to Poussin, he encoded into this painting. Another thing too, I'll show you, is another Nolan's Cross thing, is notice these lines don't quite hit the cone B and C. But if we draw a circle from the center of the headstone, we notice that it intersects those lines right at the crossbar of Nolan's Cross. So it is showing us that perhaps Nolan's Cross is known in this painting, in the encryption of this painting. So very interesting. It's something that it just sort of blows my mind. This is, Oak Island and where it is, and the geometry that this painting puts forth, uh, basically showing us the 45-degree angle that is given on the Zena Halpern map and pointing towards from cone A. Cone A isn't shown in this geometry as a point really because it's only just going through one line. It's not really called out, but La Hampe is called out, which is called out in the Rochefoucauld Grail and Zena Halpern's map. The set point is called out, and let's see, and cone D. Those are the three things. Cone D is only in the Zena Halpern map, Rochefoucauld map. So very interesting. This is something that I didn't think up. This is all goes to the credit of the gentleman that put forth that video. I will leave a link in the description of all the material that was on this. And let's see, I'll put that painting back up here. So what do you guys think? It's pretty interesting, isn't it? This geometry. So like and subscribe. And on my next video, I will be talking more about the geometry of Oak Island. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you later.